3 growth stocks to make your get-rich dreams come true.
What are you seeing with the balance between the demand for electric vehicles and your ability to supply them to the consumers that are coming in looking for them at your dealerships?
I love this report, Amy, because it's the most up-to-date snapshot of the electric vehicles the people in the United States are buying right now. In the first half of this year, they're still buying Teslas.
All that and more, so let's get to it. Tesla closed down today, almost a percent, at 274.43. For the week, however, up over 6%. We go back 30 days, Tesla up over 20%. And going back 52 weeks, up over 15%. And the number that's got many analysts all up in a tizzy, over 153% year to date. Can the momentum continue and carry Tesla back into the $1 trillion market club? And though Tesla's up for the week, I did suffer some losses. On Thursday, I put in a call, probably a bit too early, to expire on Friday. Long story short, I lost about a couple $100. But your boy still has a position that expires next week. It's currently up about 70% with a break-even price of $267.25. More than likely not letting the stock drop below $275 before cutting my losses. Hopefully that doesn't happen and we can ride this all the way out until Friday. Looking a bit deeper, I do have a call that expires in the middle of September, but your boy's not even thinking about touching that until NFL kickoff. What do you think the stock will do? Will Tesla be a $1 trillion company by September 15th? Let me know in the comments below. 3 growth stocks to make your get-rich dreams come true. Figured this would be a fun little read. In addition to Tesla, I do believe the other stocks are Apple and Meta. If you want to go ahead and take a deeper read, the article will be linked below. But we're finna focus on Tesla. Growth stocks power an investor's portfolio. These are stocks that consistently outperform the market over a long period of time. Since the 2008 financial crisis, growth stocks have been largely confined to shares of technology companies. With their innovations, increasingly large footprints, and rapidly expanding earnings, tech stocks have dominated market performance over the last decade. With the exception of 2022, when higher interest rates led to what came to be known as the tech wreck, the growth of tech stocks has continued largely unabated. This year, technology stocks have come roaring back in a big way. The Nasdaq surged 33%, its strongest first half since 1983. For those of you counting at home, that's 40 years ago. Outperforming the S&P 500's 16% gain. With the market surging into the year's second half, let's look at the 3 growth stocks to make your get-rich dreams come true. First things first, Tesla. Electric vehicle maker Tesla continues to be a monster growth stock. The company's share price has jumped 7% in a single trading session after it reported better than expected second quarter production and delivery numbers. Wall Street had expected 445,925 EV deliveries for Q2 ended on June 30th. Tesla beat that estimate by more than 20,000 vehicles, delivering 466,140 EVs for the quarter. Now let's just imagine 7% jump on deliveries, 20,000 vehicles more than was anticipated. If Tesla is able to make that beat on the automotive gross margins, which will be difficult to do, what percentage do you think Tesla stock might increase in one day? I'll take those guesses in the comments, please and thank you. The recent 7% increase brings Tesla stock year-to-date gain to 160%. Over the past 5 years, the company's share price is up 1,259%. Tesla's EV charging network is utilized by competitors General Motors and Ford, and a slew of others, marking the company's investments in its infrastructure a proven success. Tesla's charging network is now expected to be a future driver of profitability moving forward. More importantly, it should ease consumer concerns regardless of what EV they're driving, be a catalyst for EV adoption. Indeed, investors ought to consider that Tesla currently owns and operates 60% of the fast chargers in the US, excluding all the fast chargers that are busted and f***ed up. That number increases from like 60% to 90%. One of the most successful growth stocks in the past 5 years, hands down. With a seemingly endless runway to grow higher. When you look at their energy business, when you look at the robo-taxi outlook, Optimus, first deliveries of the Cybertruck, the unveil of their next generation vehicles, regardless of the macroeconomic environment, Tesla's future looks bright. Whether TSLA is going to benefit from all these catalysts, that's yet to be seen.
For For more on what to expect from auto sales and EVs in the second half, let's bring in Group 1 Automotive CEO Daryl Kenningham. He oversees more than 200 dealerships across the U.S. and the United Kingdom. Thank you so much for joining us, Daryl. I guess to pick up there on what Phil was talking about, what are you seeing with the balance between the demand for electric vehicles and your ability to supply them to the consumers that are coming in looking for them at your dealerships?
Well, on the EV side, good morning, first off. Thank you for having me. On the EV side, we're seeing supply constraints with some OEMs as they are, the F-150 Lightning is a great example. We're still sold out for a long time into the future and don't have enough production yet on that vehicle. And in other cases, Phil mentioned Hyundai. We're selling lots of Ioniqs and in our Hyundai dealerships, and customers seem to be reacting to them very favorably.
The only limiting factor for these electric vehicles is production. As you heard him say, they're sold out, backlogs for the Ford Lightning. Now it's up to Ford to produce the truck. Now imagine what the Cybertruck is going to do. Not gonna be pretty.
Phil LeBeau is here. He has the details. Phil, I see more and more Rivians out there in the wild, but they do have a long way to go, don't they?
They do, but they have improved their production, and we'll show you just how much they've improved it in just a little bit. I love this report, Amy, because it's the most up-to-date snapshot of the electric vehicles the people in the United States are buying right now. In the first half of this year, they're still buying Teslas. Oh, yeah, by an overwhelming number of vehicles that are out there. 60% of the EVs that were sold in the first half of this year, according to Motor Intelligence, were Teslas. By the way, most of them are Model Y or Model 3. In fact, over half of the EV sales in the first half of this year were Model 3 or Model Y, about 56%.
Now, why, pray tell, is that? Could it be that Tesla is producing the most electric vehicles on the planet? That probably has something to do with it. I guess it doesn't hurt that they have outstanding performance, exceptional functionality, and are the safest vehicles on the planet.
By 29.7%. So you're looking at a company right now that continues to grow. Its gap between them and the next closest is more than 300,000 vehicles. So as you take a look at shares of Tesla, yes, this has helped the company's stock move higher over the last several weeks, the fact that they've had some strong demand, but it's really about gross auto margins. And we'll find out what they were for the second quarter on July 19th when the company reports after the bell. You mentioned Rivian. What a day for Rivian. Really, what a month for Rivian. This stock has exploded. You talk about Wedbush and the fact that they have raised the price target from 25 to 30 on stronger production. The R1T is now the best-selling electric pickup truck in the United States. Easily outselling Ford's F-150 Lightning. And speaking of Ford, as well as General Motors, they both had price target increases today from Morgan Stanley. But both of those companies, Eamon, when you look at where they are in their EV production, yeah, there was some downtime at Ford. They had some issues with a battery fire investigation with the F-150 Lightning earlier this year. And GM has increased production, but both of them have been very slow in the ramp-up of EV production. And that is one reason why people look at EVs right now and they say, I see Teslas everywhere. I'm starting to see more Rivians. Where are the GM and the Ford models? We're just not seeing a ton of them right now. You actually see a lot of Hyundais out there. They're number 2 in terms of market share.
Yeah, that phrase, slow and steady wins the race, that's probably not the case here. You've just been overtaken by Hyundai. Now, Rivian is the best-selling electric vehicle pickup. Time to pick up the pace, Ford. GM, let's get going. Cybertruck's not going to take any prisoners. They're going to slaughter everyone in this market. When Tesla starts rolling out Cybertrucks out of Giga Austin, it'll be all anybody's talking about. We like things bigger in Texas, and they like keeping it weird in Austin. The Cybertruck fits perfectly in the Lone Star State.
Market share by cutting prices. I wonder if you're going to see more Tesla price cuts in the future. It's sort of a controversial strategy earlier this year. Seems to have paid off, right, in terms of that market share that you're just pointing to. But is there a point where you start to cut into profits too much if you cut those prices?
We'll find out on July 19th. Look, the gross auto margins are expected to come down. They were 19.5% in the first quarter. Most are saying they're going to come down 1% or 2% in the second quarter. At least that's the conjecture that's out there among analysts, and that's because of the price cuts. But the biggest impact with those price cuts, Eamon, it's China. It's
Yeah.
brutally competitive in China right now in terms of pricing. That's the biggest impact for Tesla.
And they just
Not
put
as
a
much
floor.
here in the United States, but though we are seeing some.
And they just put a floor
Say
on
that
prices
again?
in China, right? The government teamed up with the Chinese automakers and
Well,
said no more price cuts.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
You know how this
Okay.
works, Eamon. There's supposed to be a floor there, and then we hear there's reports a day later that some of the companies are juicing the market a little bit.
We'll see.
I'm always a little bit skeptical of these agreements.
Tesla has a goal of mid 20% margins. Stoking demand and getting vehicles out on the roads is crucial to the development of full self-driving and, quite frankly, customer retention. If you have a Tesla, that's probably what you're going to use for the foreseeable future. Much like you could say if you have an iPhone, you're probably not going to switch over to something else arbitrarily. But there are other metrics that go into factoring margins. I wonder if inflation is still wearing down on some of the materials that go into the battery. Has Tesla achieved some economies of scale that improve their production to lower their costs so that they can pass on those savings to the consumer? In conclusion, you trying to get rich? Go ahead and hitch that wagon to Tesla. The best growth stocks out there. Everybody in the EV space, not named Tesla, still has a lot of work to do over here in the US. In 2023, has 60% of the market share. That is crazy. That number has to come down, right? Well, that's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.